as you can see, son, this is how babies are born. Now, did you learn something?
Gee whiz, Dad, that was a pretty cool story.
Now, son, if you could be anything in the world, what will you be?
Gee whiz, Dad, I want to be a ball.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, a ball.
Get out of this house right now!
Man, it's no fair. I just really wish I could be a ball. I wish to be a ball.
No way, I don't believe it. I'm actually a ball. My wish came true. This is the greatest day ever. Wait, no, what's happening? Oh no, I'm floating. No, no, I'm in space. Oh my gosh, no, oh, no, that's the sun. Ah! Everyone knows about video games, but more importantly, everyone loves video games. The fun characters you get to play as, the open worlds you get to explore, the adventure, it's truly awesome. But the best thing about video games is that there are different types of games for different players. From games like sports games, 3D platformers, first-person shooters, and digging simulators, the world of game is truly wide and varying. But there's one genre of game that tends to get unnoticed from gaming culture. I'm of course talking about board games. Now, what is a board game? Well, there are two different definitions for that. Either it's a game where you use a ball as your main objective to completing the game, or you can actually be the ball, as in you play as a ball to play the game. So I've decided to take a look through board games to see when it started and when eventually it died out. But we have to talk about the first ever board game, Breakout. The Atari era, an era full of pixels, and that's it. It existed, but now it doesn't. But we have to talk about Atari because that's when the first board game came out, Breakout. Now I know people thinking, didn't Pong come out before Breakout? Well, yeah, you're right. But I think Breakout is an overall better experience than Pong. In Pong, you play as a paddle, you hit the ball to the other player, and the goal is that you get the ball over the player and you score a point. But in Breakout, the thing's more intense. You play as a paddle, yes, but there's only one player and you're facing horizontally. The ball bounces on you and your objective is to break the blocks in the air. You move the paddle around and hope that the ball bounces across the edges, hits the wall and breaks the ball. It's a very fun game, but also quite challenging. Especially when you get to like a few dozen blocks left and hitting the ball just gets impossible to get the blocks. It's same. But Breakout, I think, is a better experience than Pong. It's more fun, it's more engaging, and it's more challenging. And of course, it's the first board game. Also, I think Breakout is the game that actually solidified gaming as a bigger media. But now, let's get on to the next era, the NES era. Now, with the NES, I couldn't really find that many board games. There was Marble Madness, and that's it. But leave it to the big guys to create the next generation of consoles, the 16-bit era. And now, this is the era where board games truly meant something. With this era, video game designers were being a bit more experimental. Because of the new hardware, they could do things they couldn't really do on the NES, or at least couldn't do correctly. Now we have this new technology that could do way more advanced things. And so the board game era truly took off. But for some reason, the board games that they had weren't like games you're thinking of. They weren't like soccer games or like other things involving on balls. They were pinball games. I guess the 90s had a really weird fetish for pinball games. Okay. So many pinball games. Like, how many of these are there? What is this, like 100? Like, they could have been making their own new IPs. Hell, they could have been making anything else, but they stuck to pinball games. Now, there's so many to talk about, so I'm just going to choose some of the simple ones and the most popular ones. Sonic Pinball is an iconic one. You play a Sonic in the shape of a ball. You have to stop Eggman doing something. I didn't bother to read the script for this game, so sorry for that. But you play as Sonic, and you have to go on a mission to stop Eggman from something. And the game is... it's alright, I guess. I mean, the game has distinct levels. So, Pokemon had a pinball game, and it was fine, I guess. Okay, honestly, these pinball games aren't that really interesting. I'm not a fan of pinball myself, so I can't really get involved in this game. I mean, they tried to make it engaging by having power-up and shooting stuff, have boss fights, obstacles, but at the end of the day, it's pinball. If they really wanted to make an action game, they could have just made an action game. But there's one ball game that's not a pinball game that comes from the 90s and is iconic to this day and has sort of a cult following. I'm of course talking about Glover. Glover, the handyman hand. He can do anything. He can roll a ball, throw a ball, ride a ball. Glover is a game that I find interesting still to this day. The idea concept of making a 3D platformer where you use a ball to traverse levels is actually interesting, and you use the ball in so many distinct ways. You can roll across levels, you can bounce on the ball to get on higher spots, you can throw the ball to activate platforms and stuff. It's actually a pretty interesting concept. In fact, they were actually going to originally make a sequel of the game, but they bought so many copies of their game that they had to file for bankruptcy or something like that. Still, I think Glover is one of the examples of using innovation and something so simple to create something that's actually pretty fun. Now, for the final moment, there's a ball game that people still play to this day, a game that's considered an icon of icon. This game I'm about to talk about is one of the most iconic games you'll ever hear about. I'm of course talking about Kirby! Kirby, the lovable pink fluff ball. Literally, ball is in his name. Kirby is an icon to Nintendo, and he's still being played to this day. He started out on the Game Boy, created by Masahiro Sakurai, and has continued on to the Nintendo Switch. A lot of people actually forget that Kirby is a ball game. I mean, he is a ball, and you play as him in the game. He's probably the only ball game that's still being played today. And Kirby's gameplay is actually pretty fun. I'm not going to talk about Kirby too much because you all know Kirby. He puffs up in the air, he sucks enemies and gets their powers, he's cute and evil, and he's just a fun character. Now truly, this is a ball game that we can all say is pretty good. So that was ball games, a truly underrated video game genre. Now, the question you're probably all wondering is, why the hell did I talk about ball games? Well, the answer is, I don't know.